Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Take your seats, please, for the show is about to begin. Another exciting load of old twaddle from the Vobes one-eyed Kenobi sitting in a studio somewhere in Worthing, getting ready to present his bald bonce for your entertainment only, exclusive to the Vobe Show channel on YouTube, shared on Facebook at some point when he can remember to do so. The show will be commencing any moment now. Here is the clock. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Vobe Show with me, your host, Richard Vobes, on his Todd today. Fingers crossed. How do you do that? The lovely Julia will be here on Wednesday, but for the moment, the time being, the old Vobe is here on the 20th of January 2020. So that's 2120. If you want to write it out like that, it's quite handy because it goes 20120. It'd be good if it was 20102, but it's not. So deal with it. Anyway, lovely. Welcome to the beginning of a week. Hopefully we've got 3 of these. Friday, yeah, there should be a show on Friday. Should be a show on Wednesday. It's all looking very good. And we've had sunshine, ladies and gentlemen. Sunshine so far this week from Sunday and today. We've had 2 days. 2 days of sunshine. Can you see my tan? Can you? Oh, I've been out there in the sun. I've been bathing in my little Speedos, don't you know? Very tight little Speedos, because I want every inch of flesh to be lovely and bronze for the show. Keep you all happy and entertained, don't you know? Even though I may be hiding it under all my clothes, but just know that I am naked underneath what I wear. Yes, let's find out who's out there. We've got the lovely Julia. We've got Mr. Great Plum. We've seen Andrew Norris and Jeff Kellison, Dan Harris and Osborne, the Veg Grower Podcast. Victoria Allen. We've got Barbara Charles, lovely to see you. Andy Stacey, Merritt Genealogy, Care for a Jelly Baby. Hello, Care for a Jelly Baby. Yes, I do actually. Could you send some jelly babies into the show immediately? I absolutely would love to have some jelly babies right now. That would be good. Come walk with me. Sunshine, that's a myth. So come walk with me, says. But actually, it's true. I've made 2 videos. Well, both with the lovely Julia, both in the lovely sunshine, and it has been superb. Mark Selwood, Monsieur Lathobe, he says, how are you, my Gaelic friend? I think Gaelic or garlic, I'm not quite sure. It's these glasses, don't you know? It's the glasses. I blame them all. David Stacey, evening all. Hello, David. How are you? Lovely to see you. Thank you for popping by. It's very nice. Paul Smith. Hello, Paul. Lovely. Lovely also. Pull up a Nimbus. Have a sit down. Take the weight off your feet. Have a slurp of some lovely Bald Explorer coffee. Available now from K-Tel. Don't know if you remember K-Tel, but they sort of seem to do everything before, what was it, IKEA got in on the muscling thing. Glenn Johnson's out there. Hello, computer people. No doubt he's saying, oh, hello, people in my computer. That's his catchphrase. Fiona Cooper is there. Lovely to see you, Fiona Cooper. Stephen Musco, he is out there. Where in Sussex? Oh, hello, hang on. Where in Sussex? He's already started. Have your neutral density the flower? Yes, I bloody well have, mate. And not only that, I have neutral density the Vobe Show, although it could do with a bit more, and also my on-air. So there. Eagle-eyed, Mr. Pilfold. Eagle-eyed. Which is nice to know. All that effort that I went to, yes, all that effort to get it done. I do need a bit more. We came up with neutral density filter. If you want to buy it on a cellophane roll, costs an arm and a leg. An arm and a leg it costs, but if you have half a brain, even if you have just a small, tiny bit of a brain, you can kind of go, wait a minute, there are these boy racers who tint their windows in their cars. They're basically using neutral density, aren't they? So I picked a mid-range of that, thought that would be enough. And do you know what? These are 2-ply, and the big Vobes show at the back there still needs a third on it. So it's a bit of an outrageous thing. David says he's got his fingers up. Kevin Hall is here. Hello, Richard. Kevin here. Yes, Kevin is here. Oh, now that Kevin is here, we must just, of course, make sure all the surfaces are nice and tidy, because Kevin, of course, brought the studio some lovely, clean sort of stuff. So we'll just give everything a nice spruce. We'll chuck in a little bit of liquid on the desk there. Actually, I didn't do that because the lid hasn't been opened as yet. But somewhere in here, there we go. Make it lovely and clean, which is very important. And of course, almost forgot, got to clean one's teeth. So that's handy. Anyway, the place is now nice and spruce. Oh, wait a minute, need a bit of a wipe down, don't we? There we are. Need a bit of a wipe down. As you can see, we've got the towels here. Wipe it down, and that's all marvellous. So, there we are. Hello and welcome to you, Kevin Hall. I hope your boots have got better since all that mud. 2 feet of mud. He disappeared up to his neck, you know. He had a good moan on the old Facebook. Oh dear, he said. Oh, it's Kevin here. Look at all this mud. It's everywhere. Everywhere I see. Mud to the left of me, mud to the right of me, mud in front of me, mud. It's all coming out my backside. What's he doing that for? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he had a bit of a rant on Facebook, but don't panic. It's all been sorted. The Forestry Commission have got down on their humble knees and apologised profusely and said, oh, Mr. Hall, I'm ever so sorry about that. How terrible at that. Our contractors came in their big tractors trying to get some of that lovely wood out for Mr. Vobes' Essie, and we had to get it over there because he was having a hissy, and we wanted to make sure it there so that he could have a lovely fire going. And we won't do it again. We'll let him freeze in the cold. We won't get those trees out, don't you worry, he'll freeze, but the paths will be lovely. Actually, if you'd gone back the following day, you would have noticed that all that mud would have frozen over, because we were out on the South Downs and all the mud up there was frozen over. Yeah, it's a funny thing that, isn't it? Anyway, up, Kevin, says Stephen Musco, that's his mate. Mandy of Marymac, hello to you, lovely to see you. Thank you for passing by. It's lovely to see you. Come walk with me, says, on air, I thought you were on a chair. Yes, no, we are walking on air. Come walk with me on air. What we do is we go to Beachy Head and we just walk out, you know, like the cartoons, where the cartoons run out into space and they're fine until suddenly they realise, hang on a minute, just a second, and then, moment of realisation, and then, woof, straight down to the ground. And then that's it. They're snuffed it. But being cartoons, of course, they're perfectly all right. Robert Baxter says, hello. Hello, Robert. How are you? Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. Kevin Hall is LOLing. Mark Selwyn says, I'm not sure what the weather is, Victoria. My night shifts were dry. Been sleeping all through the day. Poor old Mark Selwood is down there in his car park, making sure everything's all spickety-spoo at the hospital at night time. But in the day, when all the what did you call them? Not the grockles. What did you call them? The insects. No, not the insects. You had a name for the tourists. I can't remember what you said now. When we were at Mousehole. Mousehole, Richard. Mouse. It's beautiful, isn't it? It is beautiful, Mark. It's very beautiful. It's gunpowder. Yes, I know it's gunpowder. But that was a different place. Mark Selwer says, we appreciate the sprucing up of the studio space. Well, we want to make it nice and spick and span for all a lovely viewer. So that would be handy. Come Walk with Me says, mud is good for the skin, isn't it? But it's not good for Kevin's his beard, you see. He has a bit of a beard rash when he has too much mud in it, which is, a bit of a shame for him. Vicky says, skin, but not good for your shoes. No, probably best to wear Wellingtons in that sort of situation. Glenn Johnson says Mud was a terrible band. Yes, dreadful. A bit like Middle of the Road. I suppose you'd have Mud on one side, Mud on the other, and then Middle of the Road. It's the Middle of the Road. Do you remember Middle of the Road? Didn't they do that? Where's your mother gone? Where's your mother gone? Where's your papa gone? Where's your papa gone? He's gone down that road that Kevin Orr was on earlier, and they've never been seen since. Far, far away. That was a long time ago, you'll be pleased to know. Glenn Johnson has just said what I've just said, he said. And so Victoria says, I loved Mud. Saw them in Wimbledon Theatre. That's nice. What were they doing at Wimbledon then? Playing tennis in the theatre? Well, I don't even remember. I can't name one song that Mud sang. Can't even name one. So that's true. David Chamberlain, greetings from Dubai. I hope everyone is well. Yes, everyone seems to be very chirpy and in jolly good mood. Just having a slurp here. Very tasty. Cynthia's camera says, good evening. Sorry I'm late. That's quite all right. I believe you sent in a note. I don't know what we've done with it, but I'll read it later. And Stephen Musco says, hi, Cynthia. Linda Kane, evening. A bit late, I'm afraid. What is it with all these late comers? Did I start too early? Maybe I did. Now, ladies and gentlemen, on today's show, it's really much down to you to set the tone. I've been out and about with the lovely Julia. Been over to Titchfield. Anyone tell me where Titchfield is? There's, quickly, go and Google it. I know what you're up to. Google in a minute. Hang on a minute. Alexa, where is Titchfield?
Titchfield happens to be near Fareham in Hampshire.
Oh, yeah. Alexa, tell me the history of Titchfield Abbey.
Titchfield Abbey was built in the 12th century by people, probably monks.
Yes, probably.
It was then turned into a nice mansion in the after the dissolution of the monasteries.
Yes, after the dissolution. I always thought that when you mentioned dissolution of the monasteries, they actually meant, like, you know, when they dissolved them. I thought that was a question of shoving them in a great big glass of water. I mean, I'd like to see the size of that glass of water. I didn't know they could manufacture quite that much glass, to be honest with you. But if they could, you could imagine it like a lump of salt slowly dissolving in a pan. Something like that. The Veg Grower Podcaster says, podcast. Oh, no, it's part of his handle, actually. He says, near Fareham. That's fair and squareham in Fareham. So that's where we were, the lovely Julia and I, near Fareham and Squareham. Kevin Hall says, Richard, have you still got my card that was delivered for you? Yes, I did, and I've eaten it now. Chucked it in the bin. You never picked it up. You never asked for it. I don't know. You don't write. You don't phone. You don't send me messages. You don't send me flowers. You don't send me flowers anymore. You don't. So I'm afraid it's probably in the bin. If it's not in that bin, it's probably down the tip now. Some I can imagine some binman down there on the old landfill is all lonely at one end of the landfill field. You can just picture him now with his little hard hat and his high-vis jacket. There's nobody else about. Billion, million, trillion, Vince Hillian makes you illion seagulls all flapping about, landing everywhere. And he's talking to them, and then he sees this little bit of an envelope sticking out the ground, and it says, to Kevin. And he goes, Oh, that's my name is Kevin. And he picks it up and he goes, oh, that must be for me. Opens it up and there's this lovely poetic message inside from a certain person who is a pseudonym. And it's all in there. It's lovely, lovely message along with the £25 note that was left in there and everything. And this Kevin is there. He's fighting off the seagulls. They obviously take the £25 note and fly to the nearest ice cream parlour so they can have a free ice cream and some bag of chips, because that's what seagulls like these days. They're very native to the British Isles. And they love, the classics. They've even got Kiss Me Quick hats on, a bit like this one. There we are, flying about. Kiss me quick, that's the way to do it. That's the way you do it on the Vobes show. So it's ended up down the tip, mate. Sorry about that. Julia Hartley says, John Berger. Long time, no see, have you there? Or something. Ling time, no see you there. Or words to that effect. Long even, she says, like Long Johns. Long John Silvers. I wonder if Long John Silver ever wore Long Johns. That would be quite interesting, wouldn't it? Would he pull one of those woolen legs up the wooden leg? A woolen leg up the wooden... it's one of those things that you wonder about 3 o'clock in the morning. You think, Long John Silver, did he ever...
That's the way to do it. Wear your pantses. Wear your pantses.
What? What's that you say?
Wear your long johns. Come on now. Wear your long johns.
I expect Blind Pew would have had long johns, wouldn't he? He probably would on his stick as he's tapping about down in wherever it took place on Treasure Island. You know Treasure Island. Treasure. You can't do that for very long, of course. Kevin Hall says that my Alexa has just given a fact about Titchfield. I'm not at all surprised. It's very nice. John Berger says most times he does his show while I'm at work. Oh yes, his private conversation going on. Unable to listen, or I see the Gmail notification too late. Yes, I program it deliberately so that John Berger gets the show too late, because otherwise he'll have some wise information to share with the nation, and we can't have that because it'll make him look brainy and me look thick, which is not a very difficult thing to do. Mandy of Merrimack says, "Oh, Neil Diamond. Neil Diamond. Did somebody do a bit of Neil Diamond? I don't. Neil Diamond. Oh, I don't know. Give us a song by Neil Diamond. Didn't he do that? Dance on blue. Was that one of his? I always get Neil Diamond and the other bloke with the big nose. You know, who's the one with the big nose? I get him mixed up. Or maybe they both got big noses." Linda Kane says, "What did you do? What did you walk into, Richard? What did you mean? Oh, here. Yes, here, you mean. I walked into my door, didn't I? Whilst I was away, ladies and gentlemen, the postman came and he had a package for me of some description. I think it's a book that I ordered. I was rather inspired when I went over to Kevin Hall. Hello, Richard. Kevin here. He had a couple of interesting books. Now, Kevin has about as many books as you can fit onto a top of a matchbox in his house. His house is very much an empty house waiting for things to arrive. But it has a shelf, there's nothing on it, and he had these 2 books, and I thought, he's going to fill up his shelf with these 2 books. He's going to put them laterally like that. They were about woodcrafts and the things that people do, and I thought, I can't have you having those books and me not having those books, so I immediately went to amazon.co.uk, and I ordered them, and I think that's what's come to my house. It may not be, but the postman couldn't get it through the little post box because I have a tiny little post box, so they sent a card, and the little card, you know, that little red card,
"Something for you, Mr. Vobes, something to get excited about."
And of course I was jumping up and down with excitement, with glee, ladies and gentlemen. Where do you buy glee? Where do you get it? I'd like to know. Amazon, you go and put it on. Alexa, where do you buy glee? See what she says on that, please. Where can you go and get glee? Because I was dancing with glee. I must have somehow got some on, brushed off on somebody else. Maybe Julia had some and it brushed off her jacket or something. I don't know. Anyway, I was dancing with this glee because there was this lovely little card, but it meant going down to the post box, and I had to go to the post office to get. But it was too late. I had the show to do, the Vobes show, don't you know, and had to get the SE all pumped up and excited. So there was lots of things to do, but didn't get there because I went down to pick up this card that was on the mat. As I picked up this card on my blind side, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who know, I only have one eye, just the one, you see. I can swivel it round. Might do that one day. And I bumped into the great big hefty lock that's on the old oak door, the oak studded door from the 13th century that's at the front of my house. Feels like that because it's got a few holes in and a lot of drafts come through. Unfortunately, not the parcels I've ordered from Amazon. And I bashed my head on that, and I was slightly concussed. Pleased you asked now, aren't you, Linda? And I fell to the ground, and I lay there probably for about 7 or 8 hours with the door open, the cold frost, the blizzard coming through, the buzzard flying above. It was a bit of a nightmare. And eventually some kind little old lady, poor little lady with a Zimmer frame, came up, and she said, as she approached the door, she said, "Oh, look at that detritus in the doorway." And she pushed me in and slammed the door shut.
"That's better,"
I heard her say as she wandered off.
"Don't want that body, that corpse, making the road look messy."
Bloody cheek, if you ask me. So there we are. Manlow. Oh, yes, Manlow. That's it. What's it? Barry Manlow. Manilow. That's right. Manlow. Hello. It's a little dwarf. Hello, Manlow. How are you? That's his brother, Hilo. Hilo. How are you? Yes, so Barry Manilow and Neil Diamond. I love the Neil Diamond song, says Vicky Allen's. Anyone put a Neil Diamond on there? Talking to Neil Diamond, rest in peace, Barry Manilow. Oh, what happened? Did Neil Diamond and Barry Manilow have a bit of a shootout? Son, ton, blue. How does that one go? What is that? What are the lyrics? I know the tune. Ton, ton, blue, one of them sang it. I don't know which one. And to be honest, it doesn't really matter. I think they both have curly hair, don't they? And they're not. None of them are English. Glenn Johnson says everyone loves Neil Diamond. He's a lucky fella, isn't he? Does he just open his door and they all come in and he goes, "Oh, wait a minute. It's nice to have a cup of coffee first. Even to know your first name would be useful." But you never quite know. You can buy Glee at a local liquor store, apparently. It's what I'm on at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. You need a little bit of Glee when you do a show like this. So that's right. Come Walk With Me says a bit of a head polish should get the mark off. Yes, here we go. Wait a minute. Unfortunately, the box is now empty. But there we go. Not to worry. Once, says Mary of Mandelo, he said, Mary of, what is it? Mandy of Manilow says, once, while attending a Neil Diamond concert, he sang directly to me for about 15 seconds. What did he sing? "Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. I've just met Mandy of Mary Mac and he's gone straight to my head." Woo! Where in Sussex says, if anyone called Rosie I know should unfortunately snuff it, I will be recommending they play Crackling Rosie at the crematorium. That's right. I forget how that tune goes. Crackling Rosie. I forget. How does that go? Maybe somebody could sing it. Linda Kane says, don't you dare unless you want one less view. What's that? Sing the song, Crackling Rosie. Come With Me and Walk says, did the door handle knock? And he said, well, what do you think? You can be the judge of that. You're watching the show. What do you think? Do you think it did? I don't think so. Mark Selwood says, I remember the time that Richard and I started talking to an old dear in St. Agnes and a group of friends thought we were doing her in. That's right, there we were. We'd come back from... she's a lovely woman, St. Agnes. We'd been there and we'd been at her feet, grovelling down, looking at her feet and saying, cool, look at those lovely shoes you've got there. Aren't they nice? They're like Lady Godiva's shoes, invisible to the eye. Anyway, and this woman, this St. Agnes woman was going, oh, that's what it does to you. How nice of you. We were having a bit of a laugh with her, punching her about, shaking her around, turn her upside down to get all the little souvenirs out of her pocket. And her mates, big, fat, burly mates, 7'6", there was one, 8'9" was another, and... well, there was a small little chap with only one leg hopping about with his long johns on and a parrot on his shoulder. But they didn't really matter. And so we quickly scarpered, left her there, and ran to the beach, which was at the edge of the cliff, jumped over the cliff and swam into a cave. There is video evidence of this, although unfortunately it's been redacted. Linda Kane says, sound like Charles... Oh, yeah, Charles Aznavour. Now, what was Charles Aznavour? God, blimey. What did he sing? Did he sing a long song? Whatever that was. Veg Grower Podcast says, coffee. That's what we need. Sweet Caroline, I know that. Which one of those monsters that we've just mentioned sang Sweet Caroline? Bum bum bum, la da dee da da da. Was that a Neil Diamond one, or was that a Barry What was Barry Manilow's most famous song? We're in Sussex. I'll tell you how it goes. It's not like that. Absolutely. Thanks very much. Your eye. What about my eye? Hang on. I've got to go back. It sounds like my eye. No, Linda Kane. Did you? I missed it. David Ford, who has a YouTube channel with a dog, he says, Mark Selwood, Olivia Newton-John is always singing to me. She says, you're the one that I want. Woo, woo, woo. Take you down the tip. Woo, woo, woo. Oh, that's charming, isn't it? How did you get on with the missus there when you were explaining about Olivia Neutron Bomb and she was exploded in your face? Mary, Mandy and Midge says, I also like the Stones. Yes, I like Stones green ginger wine. That's quite nice, though I don't drink so much these days, but that used to be very nice, Stones ginger wine. Thanks for mentioning that. I quite like the pearls, didn't you, Richard? Her pearls, yes. In fact, I've got her pearls somewhere. I don't know where I've put them now. It's in my other jacket, that's right. Neil sang Sweet Caroline. Thank you very much. Sweet Caroline, bum, bum, bum. That's obviously going to be the theme of tonight's show. Charles Chanson Amour. Was that Charles Aznavour with Chanson d'Amour? Oh, yeah, Charles d'Amour. Was that Barry? Barry's most popular song was Mandy. Oh, yes, Mandy. How does Mandy go? Sweet Mandy, bom, bom, bom. I think that was Barry Manilow's version. Anyway, out there somewhere, I thought I saw Andrew Norris. Andrew Norris has been over in Croatia. Well, he sort of lives there at the moment. And he has two different places. He has the apartments that he has up in whatever it was called, Kebab. Where, you know, the place and where he showed us the lovely market. Didn't he? Showed us last time. Do you remember the lovely market? It was all lovely in the market with people with bits of elephant and some tiger tusks, and there was all sorts of exciting things. I think there was one of those laughing hyenas in there. I think that was a bloke taking the money as people were doing it, and then there was the zebra. He was crossing. He was cross-eyed actually. So that was the market. But Andrew now he's gone into the deepest, darkest countryside in Croatia to the village, and he's got this lovely, remarkable house. And all this land, this thick, huge orchard he has, this massive orchard, which you have to be careful because you could get lost in the orchard with the tangle of the trees and the branches and the leaves and the apples and the pears and all of that. It's quite spooky in there at night time. And he has managed to teleport a special video for us, ladies and gentlemen, that we can sit down and warm ourselves by the fireside and watch and enjoy, which is an absolute treat. So Andrew Norris, I know he's out there and I know he's all ready, and I have got this lined up and it will work. I'm absolutely, touch wood, absolutely convinced. So Andrew Norris, out there in Croatia, in his village. Let's catch up with him now.
Hello everybody, I've come to the village to check on our house. This is our house behind and our piece of land with our orchard. And I was listening to Richard reading extracts from a book called 5 Years in Hell by the Vicar of Ruspa. And it amused me to hear him complaining about the lack of water in the village, and I think how the villagers conspired not to let him have any water. And I wonder what he would make of this village in the 21st century, still without running water. Now we are very lucky, I'm treading very carefully here, we are very lucky that of the 2 or so natural springs in the village, one of them is right next to us. So we just have a little walk to go to collect our drinking water. Now this natural spring was enclosed in the late 50s by a man called Janko Fudoric, and his name is inscribed in the concrete inside the enclosure. And this was his parting gift to the village when he emigrated to Argentina. And a few years ago we were able to find him, to track him down. He was very old and quite ill, but his last wish was to see a map of the village, and he was thrilled to know that the villagers still remembered him and still appreciated him for having enclosed the natural spring to enable the water to be collected. Otherwise people would normally wait, for half an hour or so to fill up their vessels. And this is the enclosure that he built, and his name is inscribed just here. A wonderful gift he gave to the village, which we all appreciate. So I'm here to collect my drinking water. Thank you.
It's so kind. It's so kind. Andrew sent in some of that lovely drinking water live into the studio. It was amazing. All the way from Croatia. It's such a nice old chap, that bloke. And apparently he's got well now, and he's coming over to dig a great big hole and piping in the water from Croatia, from that very same spring, and it's going to be available to anybody who cares to come round here and have it. It's piped into my tap. It may say SW for Southern Water, but actually that's nothing to do with it. Anyway, cheers. Absolutely lovely. There we are. Nice bit of... oh, gosh. Can you see all that stuff swimming about in there that's come off the hillside there? There's little fishes in there. There's plankton, I think. There is... oh, that's a frog going past. And there, sperm whale. Yes, but you don't see many of those in a bottle these days, do you? Thank you so much, Andrew. That was absolutely fantastic. We're going to see Andrew a little bit later on in the show, towards the end of the show, or if I accidentally press the button, which takes us back into... whoops, into... Hang on. Why does it do that? I don't know why it does it do that. That's very strange. Anyway, that was another mishap on the show. We had plenty of mishaps. This show is live, and I often feel dead by the end of it. Anyway, so, yeah, we're going to see more of Andrew. Now, I would like to see more of you lot in this show. Just send us a little bit. You can see what Andrew's doing. He's absolutely fantastic. Send in a video of yourself doing something reasonably interesting. Doesn't have to be anything particular. Dave Ford, there's no excuse to you. Vicky Allen, no excuse. Kevin Hall, he's done it last time. But don't do a Kevin Hall where you hold the camera. My camera's in the other room. Where you hold the camera and you're on the wrong side of it. You see, Kevin hasn't quite mastered it. We want to see your face. So try and push the camera towards you. Andrew does it brilliantly. And you just look at the camera there and you say, hello, Richard, or hello, everybody, or whatever you want to say there. It's very nice to see you. I'm doing this at the moment, blah, blah, blah. About a minute or so would be absolutely fantastic. Send it to me, richard@vobes.com, via the service that sends large files up to 2 gigabytes for... what I'm looking over there. It's not written over there. Oh, wait a minute. There it is in big invisible letters. Oh, yeah. WeTransfer.com. WeTransfer.com. Use that service. We, as in W-E, transfer, all one word, WeTransfer.com, and send your videos to richard@vobes.com, and it's a piece of cake, isn't it? Piece of cake. And then you too could be appearing on the show, ladies and gentlemen. And very soon, I'm going to buy myself I keep saying this, but very soon I will buy myself a cell phone, or a mobile phone, as we say over here, with a pay-as-you-go thing, and I will release that number, and that'll be the show number. It'll only be switched on in the show, so there's no point trying to ring me at any other time, and I'll let you know what that number will be. It'll be something like 555-4722-16380917982334, just so you can remember it. And you'll be able to ring in, and we'll have a special ringing in with a subject, not that I'm very good at doing subjects, because I often get blown off the subject, because I blow off quite a bit, don't you know. Glenn Johnson says that Richard doesn't do music. It's quite true. I do music, but not the sort of music that most people like to listen to. I do different type of music. Glenn says, how is milk cheaper than bottled water? I have no idea. Patrick Rose says, is that a drop of Worthing Spring? No, this came from Croatia. This is Andrew very kindly filled some stuff. He instead of putting the bottle in the water and sending it over, like message in a bottle, he put the water in the bottle. I thought it was a much sensibler idea. Kevin Hall says, oh, Mark Selwood. Not quite sure. They've obviously been chatting to themselves. Linda Kane says, thank you for that, Andrew. It was a lovely, touching story, though, wasn't it? It was a lovely, touching story. And did you see the orchard you had to go through fighting off? Because in Croatia, they still have they have weasels and stouts and wolves and antelopes. They have, I think they have werewolves still. Do you still have werewolves in Croatia? Croating all over the place. Croating a bit of a mess, I should think. Kevin also says that I have 2 videos ready to send you. Marvellous. Send them for Wednesday's show. I hope you're in them, because if you're not in them, if it's just you holding the camera looking that way, not interested. We want to see your ugly mug. That's what it's all about. It's all about that. But if you're not in it, don't worry. Send them over anyway, because I'm desperate for content. Come Walk With Me says, I would send a video in, but I don't show my face on camera, nor speak on the camera. Well, it's the point. What? And you come walk with me? What? We wouldn't. How would we know? How would we know we would like to walk with you if we don't know what you sound like, we don't know what you look like? I mean, you may be the most handsomest person in the whole wide world, and women may swoon at your feet and throw parts of their clothes at you. Maybe, their old tweed jacket, or perhaps their winter warmers. You never quite know. And so you should send in your face and your thing, and because if we're going to walk with you, if we're going to have a nice stroll, perhaps we want to know what you look like. Mark says, sorry, Kevin, couldn't resist. You both have so many similarities. I'm not quite sure what he means by that, because I missed the thing. Nikki Jess says, hello again, Mr. Mark Selwood. Kiss, kiss. Yes, I'm sure you do. Hello, Andrew. Kiss. Only get one, Andrew. You've only got 1 kiss, whereas Mark Selwood got 2 kisses. We know what that means. If you get 3 kisses, you're in, mate. You're in. Lovely Julia says, hello, Nikki. Hello, everyone. 1 kiss, everyone, should suffice. Lovely. There we go. Thank you very much, Julia. She's coming in there, making sure that we don't get hello to you, and hello to you, and hello to you, and aloe vera. Bye-bye, Brian. Have you tried Bye-bye, Brian? I've tried the aloe vera cream. That's quite good. But Bye-bye, Brian brings me out in a terrible rash. Absolutely. Shove it up your nose, and all sorts of critters come crawling out with bug eyes. Not nice. D for Bricks is here. Hello, D for Bricks. Nice to see you. Where in Sussex says, tomorrow, after a meeting in Victoria Station, I'll be getting a Thames Clipper to Greenwich, then going to the Thames on a cable car before visiting a show at the Canary Wharf. There's a man who knows how to live. You're not taking a T-Clipper, are you, to the East Indies, are you? Or maybe to China. That would be very nice. You could send us a report. Are you going to send us a report, Mr. Pilfold? Send us a report. I'm looking for the pretend phone. Send us a report. It's Steve Pilfold here. I'm on the Thames Clipper. On the Anedian line. We did the Anedian line. Do you remember? Can you remember how the song goes? I'll tell you how it goes. Sweet Anedian line. Bomb, bomb, bomb. That's how the Anedian line went. They missed a trick there by not getting Neil Diamond to do the theme tune. It would have been so much better improved. Come Walk Me says, I get banned from YouTube if I show my face on camera, since I am that handsome. Well, it's true. You'd probably put so many people to shame. Do you remember in the old days, not so long ago for us poor long in the tooth, or some who haven't got any teeth, those days when you used to get these youngsters, the youngsters on YouTube, who would have 2 or 3 million things, and all they made videos about was trying to get rid of spots. Do you remember that? Do they still do that? Are there still channels where there's a sort of 15-year-old boy of some description who's eaten too much chocolate, come out in all that acne all over the place, and he's got some sort of spot cream, and he's talking to the, hello there, all right, mate, here's another vlog with me in my bedroom, and my mum don't know I'm doing this, but, yeah, I've got some of the spot cream, I've got all this acne, it's terrible, but I like to sniff it, I stick it in my ears, that's the latest craze. You put spots cream in your ears, blocks your ears so you don't have to hear your parents, because when you're like 13, 14, 15, it's like, what you say? What? Yeah. It's like they've reached geriatricism. Geriatricism? I don't know what that is. But it's like, well, teenagers, they go through that, I've reached geriatricism and I've already got dementia. Perhaps that's a sign. If your kid has gone through that, perhaps they will never get dementia when they're older. If that generation, because it's not all, you see, I probably will get dementia when I'm older because I never went through that. I never went through that chinos phase? Chinos. I did wear chinos for a bit. The teenage phase, where they stuck, spots all over their faces and then made YouTube videos to 5 million people. There, of course, you don't see them anymore because they're all multi-million people. They're all influencers. That's the latest strange name, isn't it? They influence the rest of the world. It's all good. So there's so many people now with these creams sticking out their ears and out their nostrils. Francisco Boing is out there. Hello, Francisco Boing. He says, hello, I'm completely forgot about the show. I'm not surprised. You're too busy thinking of bells, aren't you? Sorry, Richard. I've spent a long time this afternoon writing about Morgan Spurlock. Wait for it, in Italian. It took me ages. You're going to have to explain who the hell Morgan Spurlock. Is that the Italian version of the HMS Enterprise, is it? Is Spurlock Spock? In the American version, you can imagine it, can't you? There is, who would be Kirkos, I suppose. Italiani. Aye, it's the Kirkos here on the what would be the Italian, no, instead of USS, it would be the Italian Enterprise. We're flying into space with our 5-year mission to eat spaghetti and have a lot of fun. Yes. I'm not very good on Italian, as you can probably tell, but it doesn't matter. You don't need to write to your MP and have me taken out of the house and beaten up, roughed up a bit at the end of the street by men with coshes. Please don't do that, because that would be rather unfair. But anyway, you can imagine them there. And then there's, what's his name? Murgo Spocko or something. I can't remember what you called him now, some strange. Aye, and then he would be going, it is illogical, Captain. It is far too illogical. Aye, the man from Del Monte. Hang on, man from Del Monte's in Spain, isn't he? Or is that Italian? I know the Ragu lot. You'd probably the Ragu family, wouldn't it be? The Ragu family would be there. Those puppets for the Ragu adverts. You know, they'd be up on the Starship Enterprise with instead of Klingons on the starboard bound, there'd probably be pasta. Pasta is a pasta. It's a pizza. Look, a pizza on the starboard bound. It's not a flying a UFO. It's a flying a pizza. Oh, mamma mia! We got to go and take me to the transporter room, and then there would be Scotty going, I can't hold it, Captain. I can't hold it. And because you can't hold it because it's a very hot pizza, I imagine. Hey, Captain, I can't hold it. I don't know. Sorry, I just got to get my Scottish accent here. I don't know. Anyway, so works wonders. What, double diamond? Double diamond works wonders, works wonders, works wonders. Double diamond works wonders. So have 1, 2 day. They were the days, wasn't it? Do you remember that? What was the finger of fudge? A finger of fudge is just enough to give your kids a treat. It's full of Cadbury goodness and something. Take them to the dentist and have the teeth taken out. Mark Selwood says, influence. Talking of influence, he says, have you had an indecent proposal yet? An indecent one? Do you know, I do get, this is quite true, I've had a couple of, one person wanted me to advertise their running shoes in the Bald Explorer. We go walking through mud, 2 inches of mud. We go walking, and they had these funny little jazzy shoes, and they said, well, we'll give you some shoes if you do a little review on it on YouTube, and you've got to put our name and stuff in the first couple of lines in the description. And they said, you know, you can have the shoes, you can keep the shoes, but you've got to buy. So you had to buy them first. They get you to buy them up front because they say, oh, we can get them to you quicker than if you order them from Amazon. You think, well, why don't you just ship them to me? So I said, no, thank you. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in that. You'd have to pay me proper money to do. I don't want a pair of epoxy running shoes. Thanks very much. And then someone else had one of these little warm blankets. You know, these silver blankets that you see the astronauts. When the astronauts fall out of space rockets onto asteroids and they're clinging on. You know, and the ambulance service come flying up to them like that on their rockets with the Jetsons, however the lovely Julia does it. And then they have those silver blankets they wrap round them until someone can get a... They usually send international rescue up there, dun 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 dun, like that. And the international rescue people sort of, you know, get up there, dun 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 dun. This is Thunderbird 1. I obey. No, wait a minute. That's the Daleks. We can't have the Dalek. FAB. There we go. And then anyway, so this was one of these people who'd given me this indecent proposal and said, "Could you do one of these on your show?" And I thought, no, I've got a tweed jacket, mate. Sorry, Harris tweed, don't you know? We never get cold when you wear a Harris tweed. Now, I'm not paid to say any of that. I just love the Harris tweed jacket. It's my favourite jacket of all time. By the way, that noise was not me farting. That's this chair. I'll just show you this lovely chair. You may have noticed there are two of these chairs now in the studio. We're going up market in here. When the lovely Julia is here, we will now be able to be even heighted. We were fed up. The producer and I had a chat. By the way, the show has got a Sorry, it does make a farty noise if I move, though, but hopefully you can't hear it. I can get away with actually farting, and you'll think it's the chair if I say that. Probably not. So this woman with the blankets and stuff, this silver blanket, said, "Would you do a review for Amazon?" I said, "No, not really. Just, you know what? You're going to give me... That's all I get out of it. I get one of these I don't want one. Please go away." It's only going to get worse. When I get to 10,000 views, I'll probably get all sorts of nonsense coming. Because actually, now this is actually true, you've got to be integral to the audience. You've got to understand that you can't just advertise any old crap, because people will see through it and then they just think you're advertising all the time. Rami Boo says 48 people watching, only 9 likes. Don't forget to go up. And if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. If you don't like it, just don't bother to thumb. It doesn't actually matter. By the way, if you don't like it, do a thumbs down. More thumbs down, it doesn't matter, because it's interaction and it tells people that we're actually doing very well. My son has just come back through the door. Hello, Billy.
Hello, Dad.
There we are. That's Billy. He's just come back. He's been. What film did you watch?
Bad Boys for Life.
Bad Boys for Life. They've been out to see at the local cinema. I can't tell you how good. Was it any good? It was amazing. There was about these bad boys, and you get them for life, apparently. So I don't know if anyone's seen that film. It's currently been released. Have you seen the new James Bond? No, neither have I. Is it out yet? It's not out yet. I was tipped to be the next James Bond because what's his name is no longer Pierce Brosnan is no longer doing it. And what's the other bloke? What's the current name of the actor who does James Bond at the moment? The little blonde bloke who's getting a bit old. Nearly as old as me, actually. Mark Selwood says, "Bye, Francisco. Thanks for looking in." Oh, he's got to go back to doing his Italian. How does the Star Trek do? Apparently, there were other versions of Star Trek. Who knew? They had a different cast. Somebody had like a gazoo or something over his eyes instead of, wrapped round his eyes. I don't know. But I never saw any of that. And there was a famous English bald actor who was would never catch on, of course. Not after you've had Kirk and Sprocco, or whatever his name. It's not after the Italian version. You can imagine, can't you? The Italian version would end up with a Starship Enterprise on the edge of a cliff, rocking like this, and everybody's at one end in case it falls over, and then the bloke at the back, who's only supposed to blow the bloody doors off, says, "All right, chaps, I've got another idea." And then you get the Self-Preservation Society on the Starship Enterprise. I think that would be quite funny. We are the Self-Preservation Society. We are a lot of little movie things in there. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Fiona Cooper says, "I've got 4 bad boys living with me." Yes, you have, and you constantly bring them out when we go on the walks, and then we get lumbered with them. I don't mean that. I don't mean that. I do. It's lovely to see them. By the way, the walk is the 1st of February. If you want to come, we're going to the windmill. Like the windmills of the mind that we had coming up there in the spiral, in the thingy, and the diddle. Glenn Johnson says, "Space 1999 chair." Yes, this is right. I haven't quite got the wig. I've got a hat, but that's not quite the same. Hey-ho. Patrick Rose says, "Sell bags of fresh Sussex air on eBay." Do you know what? When I did the podcast, the old podcast, the Vobes show, the original version, we did sell... There's a video, I'll have to dig it out from wherever it is. It's on a hard drive somewhere in the back of a closet somewhere. And it has me filling up water. And we were trying to flog Sussex seawater and send it to the Americans so they could have see what was in our water. And, and the idea being that they could analyse it. Of course, now all I need to do is send a whole load of plastic and say that's your Sussex seawater. I did think about, all this plastic stuff that apparently all the plastic that's being made in the world, and all it ends up in the ocean, doesn't it? It all ends up in the ocean, and they make the Blue Planet programme with Sir Richard Attenborough and his brother Dave. Rich and Dave going about in a canoe looking at the bits of plastic bobbing up, and they go, oh, look, there's a great big one. Look at that great lump of plastic. And the other one says, no, that's a buoy. B-O-Y. B-O-U-Y. That's a buoy. That's a mooring buoy, you fathead. Oh, sorry. We're looking for the tiny little microscopic blue bits of plastic. And then they discover that they all end up in fish, don't they? Fish and amphibian creatures and all that. And I thought, well, what would probably be better is to get your own blue whale. I'm going to get a blue whale, stick it in my bath, and then when I've got all my rubbish, I'm just going to open the mouth and shove it straight in. Use it as a pedal bin. If I can get the fin in the right place, you could press the fin down, mouth goes up, shove it straight, cuts out getting it into the ocean. That's probably the easiest. And if we could market that, we'd be laughing. Andrew Murray, sorry, excuse me, it's not Andrew Murray, it's Andrew Murphy. Andrew Murphy says, hello Andrew Murphy, lovely to see you. Thank you very much for joining this complete and utter ramble of nonsense on today's show. We're doing our best. D for Bricks is saying, all right, Richard, I've had enough of this, I'm off. I don't blame you. You should have gone ages ago, because you're not learning anything from me, I'm afraid, in tonight's show. Hang on, Alterberg's. Sorry, my eyes. I've only got the one eye, and it's just watered up. And when that does, I can't see it. Altenburg Eagles. Here we go. Where is your walk on the 4th? Well, it's on the 1st for the first thing. I don't know where it is on the 4th. I haven't got that far. The 1st of February, we're doing a lovely walk from Jack and Jill Windmills above Clayton up towards Ditchling Beacon. Be there by 10:30. And away we go. And then when we come back, it looks like we've got permission to go in while the restoration team are working on slapping on paint and eating blackberries and all the sort of things that people do at windmills. It's going to be very exciting. So there we are. I hope that's answered your question, Altenburg Eagle. Ramy Bow says he's just froze. I'm sorry about it. It is cold in here. Mickey Stevens, he says, what about people not on Facebook? What about them? What about those people not on Facebook? Give me a bit more information, because I probably made reference to it. I can't remember now. What comes out my mouth, what goes around doesn't come back again, fortunately. It doesn't stay in my brain long enough to remember. Dean Cooper says, sorry I'm late, Sir Vobes. There we are. You see, that's nice to have a little bit of referential treatment. By the way, do you know the what's his name? Harry and Meghan. I don't know whether you've heard this. It's I saw it on the ticker tape as it came into the studio earlier today. Somebody faxed me some information, but my fax was on one of those rolls where by the time it comes out, it's already faded. And HMS Harry and Merkel, whatever her name is, Meghan. There we go. Thank you. Apparently, they're ditching their royal credentials. They're no longer going to be the Duchess and Dutch. What's it? The Duchess and Duchy. What is it? The Baron and Duchess. Lord and Dutch. What is the other one? There's one is the Duke. Thank you. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And I thought, well, don't panic. Doesn't matter. They're a bit boring anyway. If you could get the lovely Julia and me. We could be the Dutch and Duchess of Sussex. We probably made more videos about Sussex than they ever made videos about Sussex, and we could be them. I thought that would be an absolutely marvellous idea. Think of the wonders that we could do for it, getting up there on the downs and walking through the woods and talking a load of old rubbish. Attenberg Eagle says, response to what Julia says, real walk is on the 4th. It's not on the 4th, it's on the 1st of February. 1st of February, that's when it's on. Come Walk With Me says, and you have been looking for it. And I've been looking for something. Yes, what? I can't see. I must have missed the other bit of the comment. Sorry about that. Lovely Julia says, Richard, switch your chat to see all comments. Yes, hang on a minute. I forgot. Do you know, I forgot we could do that. Hang on. I've got to find how we get... Where's the mouse gone? When you want the mouse, there it is. Right, okay, hang on. There is a moment. Live chat. All messages. I don't know why it doesn't default to all messages. Right. Okay. I've got all messages up now, ladies and gentlemen. How you lose your eye, says Come Walk With Me. Ah, that's it. And you've been looking for... Oh, yes. I lost my eye. It's a long story. Due to a bit of acanthamoeba keratitis. Look that up. Acanthamoeba keratitis. Disease of the cornea. Ate my cornea. 4 transplants. I can't remember how many transplants. 1 biopsy. 3 transplants of the cornea. And a removal of the eye. Over a period of 4 years, bloody painful, almost suicidal, but I'm here to tell you the story and bore you with it. Mark says, I went to Harry and Meghan's wedding. Do you? And you feel cheated? I'm not surprised. Well, they've ditched it. Don't worry. We are now going to be the Lord and Lady of Sussex. I think we'll be all right. I can see how we would organise a group without Facebook in... Oh, I can't see, says the lovely Julie. If you don't do Facebook... then email me and I can tell you about it. Richard@Vobes.com. Yes, thank you. Come walk with me. I've answered that now. Andrew Murphy says, how would you empty the whale in the bath when it's full? Now, that is a good question. You see, I would attach his tail, or I would attach his blowhole, obviously, his blowhole, to something that can suck up all that. Because once he's managed to, get it down into some sort of ball of plastic, I would then suck that, extrude it. That's what you'd do. You'd extrude it out the blowhole, obviously, into rods. By osmosis, probably. And you'd extrude it into some sort of rods, and I would shove it in the Essie. It's probably what I would do. I think it's time... What is the time? Yes, it's time to catch up with the lovely Andrew Norris, because if you remember, at the last time we saw Andrew Norris, he was guzzling down some of that natural spring water. Let's find out what happens if you drink too much of the natural spring water. Hang on a minute, I've got to get over there somehow. Technically, there's a technical way of doing this. That's not it, right? Okay, good. Let's find out what happens if you have too much of that spring water and it gets into the atmosphere and makes the whole place cold. It could be a whole change of scenery. Let's see what Andrew's up to in his second of his blogs for the Vobe Show exclusive today.
Hello everybody. As you can see, last night the first snow fell, so it's time to pack up the house. All is looking good, and to head back to Zagreb. And as you can see, I'm just about to walk over our pontoon bridge. Now this bridge was built in 1974, and to commemorate the anniversary, the 40th anniversary, I found across the village a whole bunch of photographs showing the opening. So I borrowed them all and I blew them up to large format, and then I mounted them all along the railings here. It was a nice exhibition. Anyway, before there was a bridge, there was a skela or a raft, which used to convey people across the river. And in this corner, there was a little shack. It's no longer there, but it still exists in photographs. And it was lived in by a man called Joja, and he was tasked to convey people back from work. Unfortunately, he had a tendency to drink, so he would often fall asleep in the afternoon. So people would have to shout across the river to try and wake him up. Anyway, give you a last look at the river, which is a wonderful river for swimming in the summer, and the bridge.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. It does seem to be freezing. We seem to have a bit of problem. I think it's because my children have come in and they've turned the internet on. So many apologies for that. I can't. All I can say is if Andrew, you get this, I maybe have to type this. I wonder if you can post it to the Facebook page. Andrew, here we are. I'm going to type this. Can you post your videos to the FP group because they froze in transmission? I will send this now. I've sent it. You've already read it, but before I've actually said the words because of the delay. I'm sorry about that. So, yeah, it's a shame. I don't want to play it again. Play it again, Sam. What do you mean play it again? So, yeah, maybe Andrew can post the two things in the Board Explorer group. That would be great. If you don't do Facebook, I apologise about that. What can I do? It's just the way it goes. Yeah, so it's freezing. It's because my kids have come in and they've turned the internet on. I've got to go and kick the server or something, or kick the children, one of the three. Come walk me, say, I just did, but lowered the quality by 1 part. Yes, I don't know. It's my end. It's doing it to me as well. Ban your children from using the internet whilst you're broadcast. Yes, well, I pay for the blooming thing, so I will. I'll say, look, for this 1 hour, we need it. It never used to. So I think it's my BT connection. I need to talk to BT because I'm out of contract. They desperately want me to renew. But I was thinking of going with Virgin on the extreme because you get the infinite cable coming straight in. But, I think they're all as bad as each other. How are we doing on the time? We've got 4 minutes. Yeah, it's hopeless. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end the show because it's just freezing left, right and centre. Have to end early. I'll just type this. I can't even type now. Early because of the internet freezing. There we go. I'll type that in. That's the best I can offer. Thanks for coming. We'll kick kids off next time. There we go. Getting a remix version. Yes. All right. Well, if those that are getting me, get Billy off the internet. Yes, I will. Apologies. Paul. I can't even do this. Apologies for the interruption. Interrupt. I'm doing this on the hoof. So there we go. You should see if your router has quality of service option. Prioritize your studio to get the most bandwidth on your network. Oh, right. Yes. Thanks. Yes. Good idea. I might see if I can just unplug them would be the best, wouldn't it? It's on Wi-Fi. It's on Wi-Fi. Do you think it would be better if it was wired? It is Wi-Fi. I've spelt that weirdly. Would it be better if it was wired indirectly? That's to John Berger. He knows. Meanwhile, everyone's going. This is why I love it. It's live. It is live, and it's a complete and utter mess. But there you go. It's my mess. Great show, all the same. Thank you very much, Patrick. Thank you very much to Mark and to Julia and to everybody else. Hopefully see you Wednesday. Yes, I'll take my medication on Wednesday. Till next time, thanks for watching. Sorry. Thanks. I might as well just type the show, mightn't I? Thanks for watching. Bye for now. No punctuation, no apologies for that. And terrible spelling. Okie dokie, that's it. How do I get out of it? Oh, yeah. Till next time, take care. Thanks again, and bye-bye for now. Bye-bye. Press the button and nothing. Why is that not working? Oh, I see. That's... It's all very clever here, isn't it? Right, press the button. John Berger, definitely wire the studio PC. Get off wireless. Ah, right, good man. Okie dokie, will do. Take care, and toodles. Bye for now.